All right, it's a new day, again, late April in the Louvre. Pretty nice day outside, a little bit of rain this morning. And I think before we get onto these running boards on both sides, which shouldn't be too bad of a job on straightening those out, we'll probably go ahead and cut these dados on both sides. These guys here, I think it looks better with those guys in there than if they weren't there. So I'm going to have to dado those down like I did these guys. Only have to be a lot wider to fit that. We'll do that with this radial arm saw over here. I've got a star blade in there that swivels actually on its axis to create some width. I don't know if I can easily get one of these guys out to show you what I'm talking about. This guy right here. When set it up, you got all kinds of different settings on there. I don't know if that shows up on the camera or not. And it actually swivels back and forth. You see how it's off axis like that. So we get to working on setting this all up and see if we can't film this here in a little bit. So that was a couple of dados I was really nervous about cutting. On the bit, it looked like it only went, or the blade that is, it only went about 13/16 wide, and I needed 1 1/8 inches on the bottoms of those things. So that's why you saw me had to shift over. And I was every bit as nervous on that second pass on each of those pieces as I was on the initial one. Put the blade in backwards. And, you know, Jethro does stupid stuff sometimes. It's my overwhelming intellect that got me the nickname years and years and years ago. But here's what we got. They are in. These are recessed. And let's see, I think the gas tank from down below is holding things up. So we'll go ahead and pull out. I'll sit you guys up here. And I'll go get a 220 extension cable and pump that thing up a little bit. Wonder what they're hearing, singing right now, or doing for that matter. Like I say, these guys really influence me a lot. They're phenomenal at what they do. I'm just a hack out here having a good time. So, you know, retirement is good. Let's see, this button. Alrighty. Yeah, that put it down. Now we'll be able to show you what we're talking about here. You can see going across there that those strips will all be below that grade. So the grade of you know, the bed of the truck. And I will try to maybe go buy Lazat sheet metal and see about getting a piece 3/4 inch wide. That'll go over that. I don't know if I want one up front. I think it'd be too much up there, but back here to kind of clean things up to where you're not looking at the ends of the wood and the strips in place there. And again, I'm just mocking this all up at this point because I've got to take this out. I've got to actually do a couple of things. I need to make a break in here and either just have a slip-in piece or even a hinge piece, I'm not sure yet, in order to be able to fill my gas tank up, because that's where my gas tank is at down there. See? Also, it looks like I really don't want a battery in the engine compartment, So I'm gonna have to slip a battery back in, back here, maybe run some welding cable for a battery cable up to the front of the truck. And that'll actually go over to the passenger side up in front up there. I'll roll these pieces over so you can see what I'm talking about. But I think I've got just enough room to make a cradle in this area right here. So again, I'll have to either hinge back to this point or just make a slip-in piece, you know, and I don't know, maybe a recessed handle of sorts and what have you under there to make that all work. But yeah, we got to make a subframe down in here for the battery and run the cable up front and just ground it locally. I'm sure it'll work just good, just fine. So battery and gas from the bed of the truck, unfortunately, but that'll keep things from kind of cluttering up the engine compartment. All right, back at it again. We'll get on to these running boards. I'm gonna get to taking those guys off. I guess I'll take them in the backyard like I did the fenders on the last run or two and do it in the sunlight out there. So put her on time lapse and we'll see you on the other side.
So at this point, I'm just getting wrenches and coming on over to see about the removal of these running boards. Just trying to recall what I had used under there for nut and bolt sizes, and actually getting stuff over there that would probably get these rascals off. This side seemed to take a while. I had a bolt that was a little bit difficult to get to, and it was a little rough getting it going, but we eventually got it, as you'll see here in a little bit. I don't think that these are going to be as problematic, the running boards, because they're such straight items, and they should be fairly easy to shape as far as getting the Bondo in there and getting it going. Got that side off. I'm taking the table outside and kind of setting up out there for getting some Bondo going over there. Gathering up nuts and bolts. Put those in a obvious location so I can remember where they're at. And then getting on over to the driver's side to remove that running board as well. This side didn't provide as near as much challenge as the other side, and we were able to get this off in a fairly reasonable time span. Again, trying to keep the tools somewhat organized and the nuts and the bolts and placed into an obvious place so I remember where they're at.
All right, so we got these guys off and brought them outside, setting the table up out there, and taking a look at them. Show you what we got here. Again, I think I pointed out to you that it looked like there was some plenishing that went on in this area right here. You can see where I need to do some fill work through this area. It's actually all welded in, and I had done some repair on these guys to try to solidify and put them back into some semblance of structural shape at least. Looks like I could do a little bit more. I ain't gonna worry about it. I think we'll just get the top side bondoed, and we'll put this into like a Rhino Shield sort of undercoat eventually, and get it into primer and then paint. You can see the pitting in here is pretty substantial, but there's no holes per se in it, so that's not bad. So we'll do a little plenishing on this, try to get this a little better since I got the hammers now. And then you'll see me start to fill in on these other pieces. Again, this is just welded. I don't know if these are matching pair of fenders, but off the same truck per se, but they are both 36s. 35 through 37 pretty much look the same. I think I noticed maybe a little bit of difference on some of the 37 running boards and fenders that look a little more square, but I think they're for the most part just interchangeable between 35 to 37. This guy's not too bad on the bottom side, but again, we did some patching back here, and you can see where there's some fairly good surface pitting up in this area, even to the point of getting holes through there. But again, I did the back side of that with some little 1/8" plate, and we'll do some Bondos on that as well, and see if we can't get these guys into some semblance of shape.
So I had a Sidewinder with a wire brush on it and decided that we'll take a run with it and see if I can knock off a lot of the rust and what have you, the surface rust on these running boards. So I ran that back and forth some on the reels, what have you, just to kind of clean it up a little bit, do a little bit of cleanup work. And really didn't do too much after I'd gotten done with it. There was still paint that needed removal, so you'll see me a little bit later on working with the sandpaper trying to knock some of that paint down. It's a fairly thick green paint on that, especially on that fender I'm working on right now, which is the passenger side with the spare tire divot in it. There was some repair work done in that spare tire divot that never did get Bondo on today, but I think I'm going to put a little surface course on it to try to smooth it out a little bit. Here I'm trying my hand at some plenishing to see if I can improve the work that was done on this fender already. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't impressed with my work. I didn't think I really straightened all that much up, but we tried it. And I got the hammers now, so I thought I'd give it a try at least. But yeah, I was not impressed. I was like, okay, what did I spend? I kind of wasted my time, I thought, on that. But you learn, you know, and this stuff's awful thick metal. I mean, it's a regular 16 gauge sheet metal, so they really built their cars solid back in the 30s. I don't know if with some of the hailstorms that we've had around here, if that would even divot these. Not that I wouldn't leave one out to try, but the metal is substantially thicker in these vehicles than what you get on vehicles of today, or even the 60s or 70s. I mean, they're better than what they are today, but not near what this metal was back then. And with all the rills that they pleated into their the shape, I mean, that was some pretty strong pieces of body that they assembled back in the 30s and 40s. So we're getting our first run of some Bondo today. And again, just trying to slobber it, blob it into the areas that are pitted. That area underneath the cab is what sustained a lot of damage, surface rust, if you will. Ran out, so again, that pitting was really taking a lot of Bondo up, so I ended up running several courses of Bondo on these fenders today. These pitted areas really took up a lot of material. Didn't really have to run the magic marker today to see where I had to run Bondo. Bondo was pretty obvious on all of these guys. And again, especially on that inner edge and the where it's set underneath the cab, or the cab sits over the top of the running board, really sustained, I guess, a lot of moisture just hangs out there and rusts the metal. In that the area that I was working on was so straight, decided to try some work with the air file that I've got, and really wasn't impressed with that tool. It used a lot of air, a lot more air than the DA would, and my little bitty horizontal compressors really didn't quite have the CFM to run this thing, so I didn't run this very long. Just thought I would try it to see if I could get it to work as well as, or if not better than, the DA. So we tried it for a little bit, and again, wasn't really impressed with it. So back to the DA to try to hog out what the air file wasn't able to take out because of the lack of the CFM from the air compressors. And this was a little bit more effective in terms of getting the Bondo knocked down that I put on there. Fairly sloppily, I might add. So yeah, I spent quite a bit of time trying to knock down that Bondo today. So yeah, just again, just continue to work the stuff back and forth with the DA until I get to a point where Need to find a lot of divots, a lot of shallow areas, what have you. So back into the workbench to mix up some more. Just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, applying it, sanding it down, waiting for it to dry, sanding it down, going and getting more, and repeat. So here we are on the mainly on the passenger side, trying to get some shallow areas covered up. And I started, as the day went on, putting less and less hardener in it because I had too much of the material blowing up on me. And it allowed me to really kind of work the material in a little more. And I think I've heard Brent Hoytink talk about that, that he really doesn't use very much hardener because he likes to be able to take some time to really apply the material. And I found he was right. It does work a lot better. So I think we're going to wrap this up here. Just got that last coat on, and was kind of tired of sanding and putting on Bondo and waiting for it to dry and whatever else. This is no fun for me. I don't enjoy this at all, and I'm not very good at it. But still, all in all, we're getting a little closer. Thanks again, folks. Really appreciate y'all putting up with us. Jethro, see you later. Bye now.